Hello everyone and welcome to FireBytes, a video podcast created to help the new and not so new WatchGuard admins learn some configuration tips and tricks. I'm Terrence Davis, sales engineer at WatchGuard Technologies, and I'll be your host for this version of FireBytes. In this episode, I'm going to cover the login process, so this should be a very short episode. But in my daily process of helping WatchGuard administrators, I often see a lack of understanding when it comes to the login process of the XTM appliance. So I wanted to cover this somewhat simple but sometimes misunderstood process of logging into the XTM. The first thing I want to do is log into the WebUI. On the WebUI, of course, you're going to type in the IP address and the port that you have set up. By default, that's always 8080. Now that can be changed, but in this case, I left mine at default, so I'm going to log in with the default port. I'm not using a certificate, so I'm going to get the certificate warning. One of the things that you can do is load up a certificate or download the actual CA certificate from the WatchGuard itself and put it on your PC or whatever you're using to log in, and you'll get by this. And we may cover that in some other edition of FireBytes, but for now, I'm just going to click past the certificate warning and log into my firewall. Now, when using the admin username, you're logging in with the read-write passphrase. You'll get into the dashboard, but the thing that you need to understand is when you're doing anything as far as firewall policies or changes to the configuration, you have to understand that anything that you do, as soon as you, for instance, add a policy, and then you click on the add button, that is actually going to make the change happen on that firewall right that second. So be aware of that, and that's a little bit different from the WSM. If you're used to using the WSM and you switch over to using the WebUI, any changes made will occur as soon as you add those policies. So be very careful. You don't have the ability to try it out, make it a policy, kind of look at it a little bit, and then see if that's something that you want to do. So just be aware of what's going on. Now, if you actually log in using the status username, then you use the status passphrase, what you'll get is the same look and feel, and you'll even have the ability to look at the firewall policies. But when you for instance, add a policy, what's going to happen is you'll be able to push that button, but once you push it, nothing's actually going to happen. You're in as the status user, and therefore you cannot make any changes to that firewall. Now, let's move over to the WatchGuard System Manager. So when we start up the System Manager and you click directly into logging into a firewall, one of the things that confuses a lot of people is sometimes they'll try to log in with the admin passphrase. Now, one thing to be aware of that, and I've seen this happen before, people have used the same passphrase for status and for the configuration passphrase, and that can cause a lot of problems, especially when you log in and the box needs to lock that policy editor so that you can't make changes or somebody else can't make changes while you're actually working on the device. So what you want to do here is make sure that you have two distinct passphrases, one for status, one for admin, and make sure that in the status passphrase, that's what you use. It claims it right here. If you try to use the admin passphrase, you will get an error, and that error will basically say, hey, it's denied by the firebox. The firebox wants to lock or download that policy, but it does not want to lock that firewall. So make sure that you use the status passphrase, and then you're going right into the firewall. So that's basically it for today. I just wanted to show you and help you to understand that there are some reasons why you got to use the status passphrase, and then other reasons why you might use the admin passphrase, for instance, in the WebUI, so that you can make changes to anything that you're doing right away. Appreciate your time today and look forward to the next version of FireBytes. Thanks and have a great day.